How would you describe your game in one word and why?
I'd say fiery.
Miles right to the rack and lays it in. Vibes. This is a young player that is going to make a big, big impact.
It's hard to kind of put me in a box. I like to be creative, obviously within the structure of the offense, but I'm just me out there and I just express myself in different ways, and I feel like you can see that when I play for sure.
Before we get into this, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to show you is the kind of story that the mainstream sports world does not want to admit is happening right in front of their faces. If you like women's basketball, if you like underdog stories, if you like watching a so-called afterthought turn into the most must-watch player in an entire league, then you need to be subscribed, because this channel is where you're going to get it first, and you're going to get it real. Now let's get into it, because this one is wild. There is a nickname floating around the WNBA right now that most casual fans have never even heard. The Spectacle. Sounds like a wrestling gimmick, right? Sounds like something you'd hear at a circus. But no. This is what players, coaches, and hardcore basketball heads are calling a 23-year-old point guard from New Jersey who was not even supposed to be the best rookie in her own draft class. Not the #1 pick. Not the golden child the league was marketing before the season even started. And yet, here we are, months into the season, and she is running away with Rookie of the Year like it's not even a competition. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Olivia Miles of the Minnesota Lynx, and if you have not been watching her, you are missing one of the most electric, most disrespected, most quietly dominant rookie seasons in the history of this league. And today, we're breaking down exactly why. Let's set the stage, because the drama here did not start this season. It started on draft night. Everybody expected Olivia Miles to go #1 overall. She was the best point guard prospect to come out of college basketball in years. Retro handles, no-look passes, ice in her veins in the clutch. But when draft night actually happened, the Dallas Wings shocked the basketball world and took Azzi Fudd with the first pick instead. Olivia Miles fell to #2. Fell in a draft class that everybody was calling the most stacked in WNBA history. Can you imagine that? Being considered the best player in the room and still having to watch somebody else's name get called first? That is the kind of slight that either breaks a young player or it lights a fire under them that never goes out. We already know which one happened here. Minnesota scooped her up with the second pick, and from day one, the question started. Could she really run a pro offense at 23, coming off a college career that included a transfer, a serious knee injury, and a whole lot of unanswered doubts? The scouting reports were mixed. Some analysts loved her vision. Others said her turnovers would get exposed at the next level. Some flat out said Dallas made the right call passing on her. That's the kind of noise a rookie has to walk into. Real pressure, real doubt, real disrespect, dressed up as just an opinion. And then the season started. And Olivia Miles did not just prove the doubters wrong, she humiliated the doubters. Let's talk numbers for a second, because the numbers alone should stop you in your tracks. Through her rookie season, Miles has been averaging right around 20 points a game, close to 5 rebounds, over 6 assists, and more than a steal a night, while playing over 30 minutes a game, night in and night out. 20 points and 6 assists. As a rookie, in a league full of grown, physical, battle-tested veterans who are not in the business of taking it easy on a first-year player. She scored over 350 points in her first 19 games alone, a number that puts her in the top 10 rookie starts of all time, ahead of legends, ahead of Diana Taurasi, ahead of Candace Parker, ahead of some of the biggest names to ever touch a basketball. Let that sink in for a second. A player that fell to #2, a player some analysts said might struggle to adjust, is outproducing some of the greatest rookies to ever play the game. And it's not just about scoring, it's about how she's doing it. Analysts have pointed out that through her first 19 games, Miles posted the best plus-minus of any player in WNBA history over that same stretch. Not best rookie, best player, period. In the history of the league. That's not a hot streak. That's not a lucky month. That is domination, sustained over time, against real competition, with the whole league scouting her, adjusting to her, trying to slow her down. And they can't. Now let's get into why they're calling her the Spectacle, because this is where the story gets fun. It's not just the box score, it's the swagger. It's the flair. Miles plays with a pair of clear goggles, giving her this unmistakable look on the court, like she's some kind of retro throwback point guard who walked straight out of the 80s into a modern uniform. And she's leaned all the way into it. She's been open about wanting to bring back what she calls the retro point guard vibes. behind the back passes. No-look dimes that make grown veterans on the bench jump out of their seats. Reads on the floor that look like she's seeing the game 2 or 3 seconds before everybody else. That is not something you can coach into a player. That's a gift. And she's putting that gift on display every single night in front of an audience that is only just now starting to pay attention. Here's the part that should really make you sit up, though. This isn't happening in a vacuum. This is a golden era for point guards in this league. You've got Caitlin Clark, you've got Paige Bueckers, household names, faces of the league, faces of major endorsement deals. And in the middle of all that noise, all that spotlight, all that marketing machine, Olivia Miles has quietly put together a season that stacks up right alongside them. She's not just in the Rookie of the Year conversation. She has legitimate MVP buzz. Real MVP odds, sitting behind names like Aja Wilson, Caitlin Clark, and Paige Bueckers, but ahead of basically everybody else in the entire league. A rookie, with top 5 MVP odds, while half the country still doesn't know her name. That right there is the disrespect I'm talking about. That's the spectacle nobody's talking about loud enough. Let's talk about what this has meant for her team, because this is where it gets even bigger than one player. The Minnesota Lynx are a franchise with one of the richest histories in this league, tied for the most championships of any team, but in recent years, they had started to fade from the casual conversation. Not enough buzz, not enough new faces to pull in younger fans. Then Olivia Miles walks in as a rookie, and suddenly the Lynx are one of the best teams in the entire league again, riding win streaks, playing in marquee nationally broadcast matchups, and looking like legitimate championship contenders for the first time in years. Veteran players who have been through wars in this league, who have seen rookies come and go, who do not hand out respect easily, have been talking about how seamless her fit has been. Not just talented, seamless. That word matters. It means she's not disrupting the locker room to make room for her talent. She's elevating everybody around her while doing it. There's this one moment that basketball people keep bringing back up, and it says everything about who this young woman is on the court. A no-look, through-the-legs assist, setting up a teammate for a clean 3, the kind of play that makes an entire arena erupt out of their seats. Not a play you draw up, a play you feel. That's the difference between a good player and a special one. Good players make the right play. Special ones make plays that shouldn't even be possible and make it look effortless while they're doing it. Now, I want to bring up the comparison that people around the league have started making, because it's a heavy one. Lindsay Whalen, a legend in Minnesota Lynx history, has talked about looking at Olivia Miles and getting flashbacks to her own rookie year, when she was thrown into a starting point guard role with a ton of responsibility on a team that made a deep playoff run. That's not a small comparison. That's a franchise legend looking at a rookie and seeing pieces of her own legacy staring back at her. When the people who came before you start seeing themselves in you, that's when you know something special is happening. But let's not pretend this story is all sunshine, because that's not drama, that's not real, and you didn't come here for a fairy tale. Miles has dealt with injuries this season too, tweaking her ankle in the middle of one of the Lynx's win streaks, and still finding a way to stay on the floor and keep producing at an elite level. That's the kind of toughness that gets glossed over when people only talk about the highlight reel passes. She's playing through bumps and bruises at a workload most rookies would crumble under, and she is still delivering 20-point, 6-assist nights like it's nothing. And here's the real question I want you to sit with. Why isn't this the biggest story in all of women's basketball right now? Why is a rookie putting up historic numbers, dragging a legacy franchise back into title contention, getting compared to franchise legends, and somehow still flying under the radar for a huge chunk of casual sports fans? Some people will tell you it's because she fell to the second pick and never got the #1 marketing push. Some people will tell you it's because the spotlight is already locked onto a couple of other big names, and there's only so much oxygen in the room. And maybe both of those things are true, but at some point, the numbers speak so loud that the noise around them stops mattering. And Olivia Miles' numbers are screaming right now. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this means going forward, because this isn't a one-season story. This is the start of something. If she is doing this as a rookie, playing through injuries, learning a new system, adjusting to grown physical competition every single night, what does year 2 look like? What does year 3 look like? Once she's fully comfortable, once opposing coaches have had a full off season to try to figure out how to slow her down and still can't? Every great point guard era in this league has had a signature player who redefined what the position could look like. Some people are already saying Olivia Miles might be that player for this generation. Not might be the best rookie. Might be the face of the next decade of point guard play in this entire league. So here's what I want you to do. Go watch her highlights. Go watch the through the legs assists, the no-look reads, the goggles, all of it. Because the spectacle is not just a nickname. It is a warning to the rest of this league that the best point guard prospect in years did not need to be picked number one to prove she belongs at the very top. She's proving it every single night, in real time, whether the rest of the world is watching or not. If this broke down something you didn't already know, smash that like button, drop a comment telling me who you think should really be the Rookie of the Year, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time, because we are going to keep bringing you the stories the mainstream coverage keeps sleeping on. Until next time.